Guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Tamaria and I go by Tamaria Lakeo on my socials, so feel free to follow me on your favorite one. All right, we wrapping it up. All right, we're gonna get into this last energetic read. All right, so we're gonna roll the dice. I think we did one earlier, so we're gonna do one more. All right, roll the dice. Whatever planet we get, we'll talk about that planet, and we will talk about the number, because the number is going to indicate the amount of cards we're going to put on the table, right? Of course, we'll do some clarification. All right, so we got the moon. All right, and then we have the number 6. So we got that moon symbol. All right, and then we got the number 6. So 6 cards. All right. So with the moon, so this is going to talk about like some of your emotions, some of your compassions. It could be about spirituality, all right, something that your soul needs. All right. The number 6 is all about balance. All right. I can see somebody starting like their North Node journey, because I do see North Node in the number 1. All right. So I see 6, 5, 1, 1, 5, 6. All right. On the dice. So that could be like a, I don't know, I'm not gonna, I guess an area code. I don't know. It's not really an angel number that I see a lot. 615. All right. But yeah, we're gonna tap into the energy and see what we have. All right, so we do have the Lovers in reverse. All right, so this is an energy of somebody going through a separation. All right, a really bad breakup, a really bad divorce. All right, some sort of argument due to a bad decision. Somebody wasn't thinking about the other person. All right, very immature in love. All right, this could be causing someone a lot of pain, a lot of sickness. All right, it's like they want to apologize or give an apology or expect an apology. All right, or they're looking for some type of advice. All right, they're looking for some sort of guidance, all right, from someone to help them mend their problems. All right, Zuri, close the door. All right, but yeah, we got 6 on the dice, and then the first card that came out is the Lover's card, which is a 6. All right, so somebody's going through some nightmares when it comes to their relationship, bro. What the hell? Somebody is having some deep, soulful needs that are needing to be met, all right? Mentally, all right, within this relationship. Right, they're wanting to establish their home in a way that it used to be. All right, so we got the 7 of Swords in reverse. All right, so something about like, you know, this apology. All right, giving up the mentality of trying to be deceitful to your partner. All right, they're wanting to come in and fight. All right, they want to face all of the challenges that you guys have experienced. All right, they don't want you to leave them in this nightmare by themselves. Okay, they do not want you to leave them in this nightmare by themselves. All right, so we have the Magician. All right, so somebody's trying to work something out. All right, somebody's wanting to come in and change the situation for something to be better, all right? Whether it's through communication, whether it's through physical efforts, whether it's through emotional, intellectual efforts, all right? They are wanting to allow something to happen so that they can adapt to the changes, all right? They want to see if they can get something solid again. All right, let's see. Yeah, they want something solid. They want to rebuild, all right? They want to reinvest in this situation, all right? They want to do it from a more sense of patience, all right? Of perseverance, of knowing that the journey is going to take a little bit longer than what, you know, maybe they expected in order to reach for some sort of level of success within the connection, all right? And then we got another Knight, all right? We got the Knight of Wands in reverse, all right? So somebody's feeling like the passion in this relationship is just done, all right? There's no more passion. They feel like they don't have any purpose or care of being with this person, all right? They feel like this person drains their energy, makes them sad and depressed, and they're ready to change partners, all right? They're ready to rush off and change partners. And you got the other person like, no, let's work on this. All right, I know we can do something together. We can make something happen. All right, so we need one more card. We need one more card. All right. But eventually there will be a sense of recovery for, you know, all parties involved that want to go through the recovery process. All right. Recovery is a choice. All right. Something you have to actively work on, actively do. All right. Allow the worst to be over and then forgive yourself and the other person for even being in that situation. All right. There could have been a lot of conflict, a lot of chaos, a lot of challenges that went on spiritually, that went on around the people that you guys were involved with. It could have been family, it could have been friends, all right? Facing a lot of challenges, all right? People not being able to come in and come to like an agreement. A lot of unnecessary competitive energy, right? Boundaries being crossed, unnecessary debates, all right? Let's clarify this up real quick. I'm gonna try to keep this one short. Okay, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so we got the 7 of Swords in reverse, the 3 of Swords in reverse. So that's 10 swords. All right, so definitely wanting to go ahead and put this to an ending. All right, you got one person wanting to work it out, and then the other person just ready to completely end it mentally. All right, they feel like it's not worth the investment. All right, it's not worth the spiritual sacrifice, the mental confusion and chaos. All right. All right. One more. Okay, so the Ace of Pentacles fell out under the Lovers in reverse, all right? So this could have been like arguments about finances, all right? This could have been a separation due to finances, all right? Divine is saying like, okay, if it was, all right, disappointments about, you know, energy or finances or building together, having something together, all right, it's like Divine is saying like there's still other opportunities, all right? Like you don't have to be overly invested in this situation. You can learn from it, all right? And then take that that lesson, all right? And then later on down the line, you could get the finances, all right? You could get the new opportunities, the new home, the new job, all right? You don't have to sit in an energy, all right, that you know is not good for you on a spiritual level, on a physical level, all right? With a lot of drama and toxicity. You don't have to sit there. You deserve happiness, all right? You deserve peace and success and joy, all right? You don't have to just sit there, all right? If you want to accept the apology or the advice that this person is talking about, all right, you can do that. But at the same time, you can still look for other options, all right? You can still go out and co-create with yourself, all right? And allow new opportunities to come towards you. All right, we got the Five of Swords out here twice. All right, person could have had you competing against, you know, other people, had you in this competitive energy, fighting for their time, fighting for their love, fighting for their investment into you. Like, you don't have to sit there and accept that. Like, you can go. All right. So something kind of forced you out of this situation, all right? Or there was some sort of revelation that was like, okay, yeah, it's time for me to free myself, all right? Because this was an energy, all right, within a dynamic of a relationship that had you energetically and financially in a state of lack, all right, in a state of poverty, all right? And it's like you knew that there were so many other options and resources that you could do, all right, that you could have, all right, that you had to just open yourself up by freeing yourself from being in a situation that wasn't serving you. We got a lot of fives out here. So the Five of Wands out here twice, the Five of Pentacles out here, and then as well the Five of Cups on the bottom of the deck. So it was like, it was time for change, all right? It was time for growth, all right? It was time to move forward. It was time to find something energetically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually that would bring you balance, that would bring you renewal to your soul, all right? That would bring you into a connection with your spirit. Five, 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 five. Five, 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 five. All right, lots of change, all right? And this is like needed change. Sometimes you have to go through those difficult situations. You got to go through them difficult situations, those difficult challenges, those difficult times energetically and financially. You got to go through them in order to grow. All right, Divine is saying pay attention, all right? Be curious about all of the things that you've experienced, all right? Pay attention. Search for what's hidden, all right? You searching for what's hidden is going to be like some sort of enlightenment for you, all right, as you move on, all right, as you decide to allow it to be what it is and continue down your path, your journey of life, all right? Life don't stop because of a breakup, one bad relationship, or a whole bunch of bad relationships. Life don't stop. It's going to keep going, but you have to pay attention to what's hidden, all right, within the cycles, the patterns and the behaviors of what's causing these bad relationships, all right? It's like, don't try to hide the truth from yourself type shit. All right, and then happiness, all right? You got to believe that you deserve happiness, all right? You can apologize for whatever you feel like you need to apologize for, and then you just have to know that, you know, once you get your part off your chest and you allow yourself to go through the healing, that's going to bring you a sense of joy, all right? Good luck, all right? Rainbows are good luck, all right? So you're going to find your happiness after the storm. All right, so you're going to have to break the chain. All right, you're going to have to break through the chain. All right, and find your new freedom. All right, this wasn't it. So you may be confused on where to go, how to move, but as long as you take the first step, which is, you know, acknowledgement, all right, verbal confession, you know, that's gonna, you know, set something within the atmosphere of the world, within your spirit, that's gonna help you to, you know, figure out what to do now that you done broke these chains. All right, maybe you're gonna have to start, you know, praying a lot more, staying grateful, trusting in divine timing. But it's like if you stay stuck in this energy, all right, where you're trying to force it to work when divine is saying nope, is not gonna work, it's gonna cause you to have a lot of health issues, all right? And then with health issues, you're gonna need not only time to rest and heal your physical vessel, you're gonna have to probably prolong the resting and healing of your spiritual self, your spiritual side, all right? You could have been attached to a karmic feminine, all right? Somebody who was just manipulating you, all right? Somebody who was very jealous and controlling, all right? Who only came in to reveal a cycle to yourself, all right? To reveal the cycle you must break to reclaim your power and rise above, all right? So she gonna come in manipulating, jealous and controlling, okay? And it's gonna be up to you to figure out why you let her in your presence, all right? And what you can do to reclaim your power. All right, you're gonna have to be grounded, all right? You're gonna have to be an earthbender. You're gonna have to tap into all of that earth energy, stay grounded, stay in your strength, and know that your strength is coming from within. Of course, that's gonna make, you know, the karmic angry and frustrated because they want to control the situation and the narrative, but they can't. All right. All right, so karmic could be coming towards you, being very dramatic, being very extra, all right? Threatening, being kind of psychotic. You know, this is the person look like, you know, they need some help, all right? But you're gonna have to stay strong, all right? You're not gonna be able to allow any like lustful attempts that, you know, they make towards you to kind of bring you back in, because, you know, like this lust is very inconsiderate, one-sided, all right? And yeah, you're gonna have to learn to level up, all right? You're gonna have to have your graduation day when it comes to this situation, all right? You're gonna have to learn that lesson, acquire that wisdom, level up. That's 3 of them. Okay, we not gonna take all of these. I mean, I guess we could. We can take them all. All right. Turn. Okay. So with this, divine is gonna say you may be in the energy of being turned. All right. Or you may be in the energy of like going through a turned stage as you're getting out of this situation. All right, but you're gonna have to keep it under control. All right, you can't let it go too high, too low. All right, you're gonna have to allow yourself to go through the situation. All right, maybe your way of coping with it will be to turn up. All right, but I'm getting like with the roller coaster, you're gonna get tired of the turn up. You're gonna get tired of the lust. All right, you're already tired of the karmic being extra. All right, and you're gonna start looking at the pictures, all right? You're going to look at the pictures, and the pictures is going to help you to remember everything that you went through when you thought you had your boo, all right? When you thought like y'all's status was official, all right? And y'all were seeing each other openly, all right? You might be getting turned looking at the pictures, all right? Thinking about all the highs and lows y'all done had to make yourselves, you know, a committed situation. But now it's like all you guys do is have these accusations towards each other that don't necessarily help, all right? Always looking to find something wrong with the person, all right? Instead of acknowledging when it was good, what it was. Okay, Spirit. Okay, Spirit. All right, so yeah, you're going to have to figure out what's causing this pattern, cut it out, separate from it, go into some sort of isolation. As I said, isolation, all right? Separation popped out, all right? So you're going to have to separate yourself from the lust, all right? You're going to have to separate yourself from the bitterness of the ending of this relationship and of the uncertainty of the future. All right, more confirmation, all right? Don't do too much partying, all right? Don't do too much in that single life, because then you're going to have to, you know, do some more cutting of the cord. You see the big old long rope? That's a cord, all right? When you start being turned, all right? Refusing to move on in a healthy way, and stand in this energy of partying, all right? You're going to delay what you need in order to heal, all right, on the journey, all right, and be thoroughly okay with living in the moment, regardless of the friends, regardless of the fun, all right, regardless of the habits and the turntness, all right? You're going to have to learn to cut ties and build a relationship with self, okay? Grounding on the bottom of the deck, all right? You're going to have to learn how to ground in your own energy. All right, coming out of this relationship. Okay, so yeah, you're going to have to find a new perspective, all right? Find a new perception about what it is that you're looking at, what it is that you're seeing. All right, you're going to have to, it says lighthearted and adapt, all right? Finding out and change, all right? The dragonfly, things come to light and heal, all right? You're going to have to heal from the past, all right? You're going to have to end from the death of the situation. I said the death of this situation. Yeah, the death of this situation. And the situation, this is falling under my boo, all right? The relationship is over. No second chances, all right? Grow and transform, all right? So it's just giving like your soul's going through a lot, all right? You have a lot of emotions to tend to. You have a lot of things that you need to do in order to make sure that your soul and emotions get on the path of strength and healing and light and love as you are making this separation from a connection that you've been in for a long time. All right, you guys could have built a very strong bond, but it's very much time to make a change with all these fives that done popped out in order for you to find a sense of balance within yourself, within your spirit, within your finances. All right, no more being angry and frustrated, looking for flaws within the other person. We got to find the flaws within ourselves. But yeah, that's all I got for this one, collective. I will see you in the next one. Bye.